Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Friday, the 21st of January, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Welcome. So let's get started. First thing I want to talk about, let's chart the charts right here. Take a look. First thing I want to talk about is NASA's Curiosity rover has found tantalizing carbon signs of possible ancient life on Mars. Oh, you know what is interesting about this? They're saying unusual carbon signals. Now, here's a picture of the rover on the right-hand side of the screen and the Martian terrain, you know? And, I've been around a lot of places. And I've been to beaches, like in the middle of nowhere, where people have had campfires and stuff in the past. Maybe 100 years ago they've had campfires, and what happens is the weather will beat the charcoal down into fine particulate and mix it in with the sand. Now this is what I've seen on Earth, and it'll change the color of the sand from a normal sand color to a darker color sand. I've seen that quite a few times here on Earth. Well, where they've had beach fires, on the beach, and it mixes it in with the beach sand, the darker, it gets mixed in with that sand, and it can stay there forever, basically, once it's mixed in with that sand, and that's kind of what that sand looks like. It's not a natural colored sand. It's a sand that looks like it might have charcoal mixed in with it, but I'm just basing that on experience from what I've seen here in real life here on Earth. Seen that color sand, on beaches where they've had bonfires and stuff. That's what that looks like to me. Now the rock outcropping there looks natural color, but the sand that's laying there, that deep gray looking sand, that's what it looks like. Well, anyway, they found this, and they say that that unusual carbon signals. Well, carbon is charcoal. Maybe they're having a barbecue on Mars 5,000 years ago or something. Who knows? There's a lot of mysteries in the Mystery Planet. We're going to switch over now, and we're going to talk about Mars. I mean, mysterious planet Mars. We've always speculated a lot about Mars. When they first started looking at Mars, they thought they saw canals all over Mars, and they thought it was already populated with life, looking at it through telescopes, when they first spotted the canals, what they called the canals. It's always been a subject of interest. That's why we've had, in popular science fiction films, remember the show we had back in the 1950s called My Favorite Martian? And the Martians have landed. And I think in War of the Worlds from H.G. Wells, it was the Martians that came down and tried to invade Earth, or whatever. It's always the Martians. Anyway, here we are at cryptocurrency today. Now, a little bird is in my ear right now. He's whispering to me. He says, "Oh, the cryptocurrency market has been in a bear market and has fell 60%. Of the bear market's over." That's what the little bird's whispering in my ear, and it said 16 more weeks of the bear market. Now listen, guys. Never listen to a bird brain. That little bird's whispering in my ear, so don't listen to him because you might lose your investments. Okay? But basically, that's what it seems like. It seems like we're running a certain percentage through the Bitcoin bear run, and we're a certain percentage through it. And we got a period of time to wait until it turns and goes back into a bull market again. And what this is doing for you guys is, it is creating a buying opportunity, but you guys have to decide what your entry point would be into this buying opportunity. Because, it might get a lot better yet. Price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's risk-off environment right now, and this is a risk-on asset. That means they're going to be selling it for a little while yet, while the markets turn bearish. On the other side of this, we got more central bank stimulus coming. on the other side of this, and probably in the form of a new quantitative easing. Well, they've told you guys it's all data dependent. Well, the data's going to turn sour, really sour, and watch them come back to the table when that happens. So it's just a matter of time now. Anyway, that's cryptos. Let's take a look at the gold and silver today, and it seems like gold and silver are making their own bull market, but this is not a risk-on asset. This is a fear trade. When the market gets really frightened, they start to come here for safety and salvation. I used to go golfing on the golf course, and I remember this one golf course down in Florida, I used to golf at, and oftentimes there's a thunderstorm, crack, boom, lightning, and everything else. They would all run for these for the building and get under the roof, all the golfers, because they didn't want to get hit by lightning. Well, that's what gold and silver is. It's a little building on the golf course that they all run for safety when markets start to really get rough. When the seas get rough out there, they run for safety. And here you go, and the price has been popping a little bit on gold and silver as a fear trade. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of fear in the marketplace right now. They're frightened that it's going to drop 80 or 90% on them, equities and stuff, So there's a big fear trade, and they're getting frightened out there. These market indicators and stuff, they're not. I don't think they're properly reflecting the amount of fear that's out there right now. But they're hanging tight in the markets. So we're looking at a silver price today at $24.36. It's down 9 cents. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is down $5.80 today at $18.33. But they're doing awful good lately. They're reaching new levels for gold and silver. And when everything else is stumbling. And this might continue, and in fact, it probably will continue. I think we're in the initial stage right now of a 10-year bull market. And what we want to see is, we don't want to see the price of gold and silver go up real quick and then come back down. What we want to see is, we want to see this slow trend upwards where they establish new lines of support. That's what we want to see. Let's take a look now at cryptocurrencies today, and we're looking at 1796. Let me refresh the page. 1816, so it started to go up a little bit again right now. Bitcoin's at 38,908, so it's trying to reach that $40,000 mark again. Will it do it? Can it do it? Can it get back up to 40? But I'm going to tell you what, if it does, still we're in this bearish sentiment right now. And, as the markets and things start to turn downwards, well, it's going to also reflect into the cryptocurrency. And you guys got to kind of, if you're planning on buying this at a low price point, and getting in, you got to kind of figure your entry point, which might be kind of difficult. But you're going to start to see, when we start to get toward the end of this, and you start to see it ready to turn and go the other way, and go back up again. And I think that next time we're going to see Bitcoin crack through the $100,000 mark. That's what I think. That's my opinion. But it's going to be a while longer before we're still in this bear. We're in a bear right now. The cryptos are in a bear, and it's going to stay bearish. And you're going to get a little bit of warning before it turns. What you're going to see is, you're going to see the Fed change monetary policy. Or basically what I just said, the Fed come back to the table again. You better have your bags of cryptos when that happens, because that's when she's going to start to take off again. Everything's tied into the Fed now, because we all got manipulated markets. And who's been manipulating them? The Fed. So everything's tied into the Fed, what the Fed does. Fed's tightening right now. It should be a no-brainer that everything's going to start to move downwards for a while. Dow Jones today, we got 109 points up. But you know what? I just refreshed the page. It's 57 points up. You know what I was going to say? before I refreshed the page when it was 109 points up? I was going to say this could turn downwards later today and we could end up in the red where the market goes down later today. I mean, we could end up down 100 points or 200 points or even 500 points before the end of the day. You know, that's what I was going to say. The market's on very unstable, shaky ground right now. All of the markets. Okay, let's take a look right now at crude oil, 84.99, and it's down 56 cents today. Let's take a look at the MOVE index now. The MOVE index is at 80.96 and going along sideways today. Let's take a look at bonds and rates. Now, we're seeing some relief in the bond market here, and this might tend, it's moved quite a bit. This might tend to keep the markets from going too deep into the red this afternoon, or even into the red. They might stay in the green today because these bond yields are falling. We're looking at 6.9 basis points in the U.S. 10-year at 1.76. And we're looking at a U.S. 30-year at 2.09 that's fell 5.1 basis points. So, this is taking a little bit of the pressure off. Well, I told you guys at the point where I said they've priced it in. And it was right around where it is right now. And it hasn't really moved since then. So when we consider today's prices. When I told you they'd priced in the first cut. Well, they haven't priced in the second cut yet. We must be getting close now to the second cut. Soon they'll price in the second cut, and we're going to probably get a 10-year up around 2%, or maybe a bit higher. They can't take too much more of this, the Fed, of these bond yields going up. You know, it's going to start to cut. They're going to start to feel it. The markets are really going to start to feel it. I really don't think they're going to get through their tapering off their bond purchases even. But, and they're talking about raising interest rates. They ain't going to get there. Everything's going to turn down just too hard and sharp. And it's going to scare them really bad. And they're going to have to come back to the table. They're going to have to support the system. Rather than saying, okay, we're going to fight inflation. No. They're going to have to support the system. So that's what's going on with bond yields today. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index at 95.62, and it's slowly dropping today. So we got a falling dollar today. It's not fallen substantially, and that's because they are supporting the dollar. They're not supporting the system. In fact, they're withdrawing support from the system to support the dollar. And so the dollar isn't going down that much. It's staying strong, and they're on 95.62. But it's also being compared against, in this index, it's compared against a bunch of other garbage currencies. And you can actually have the dollar go up on the DXY and its purchasing power going down at the same time because of what it's being compared against. They're all the fiats are going down too. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.